Hey guys, if you want to learn how to achieve this gorgeous layered haircut, then definitely watch today's video. Allison, I'm very, very happy to have you here. And I love that you are allowing me to do the mohawk today.
Oh my God, I can't wait.
You know what I mean? I think we did some consulting.
Yes.
It was between like a 70s afro or a mohawk, and I think mohawk is a lot more in right now.
I am a little upset we couldn't get this done before Halloween. But
I know.
What I could get. You're a busy guy.
I am. And you're kind of popular too. You have like what, 900,000 Instagram followers, oh my God?
130, who's counting?
130. So this is exciting, and I wanted to show you guys what's going on here today with Allison. I'm gonna jump right into what her hair is like, and we're gonna start with the consultation. So I'm ready to go. Let's get started. Hey guys, Steven the Salon Guy here, and today I have Allison as my guest and model. What's going on, Allison?
You know, not much. I'm happy to be here. Finally get to make it to the big leagues on this big channel.
Yes, the big, well, kind of big screen, because my monitor is like kind of big, but not super big screen, the medium screen. But I want to, yeah, we're halfway there. So I want to show you guys kind of Allison's hair, right? And as with all my videos, this is kind of the important part, the consultation of what we're doing today. And this is live, like we've exchanged a couple of thoughts and ideas, but this is real time of what I want to do. So her hair, I mean, she's got beautiful hair. She does have, I'd say, medium to thick density. I mean, she has a lot of hair. The individual hair itself is, a bit on the finer side, but it's one of those classic situations where she has so much of it. So really, really good hair to work with. And the first thing that I'm seeing with her right now is just kind of like, it's just not weighing her down, but just hanging down, and there's not a whole lot of movement to it. I'm assuming most girls with their hair this long, they want to kind of keep the length for the most part. Like, are you okay with bringing up the length a little bit, or?
Yeah, a little bit.
Okay, so like 4 inches. All right, so she's ready? No. 4 inches is quite a bit. I would say by looking at her hair and the ends itself could use maybe like 1.5 inches, 2 inches the most. Like the ends are okay. It's not really that. It's more of all this, right?
Yeah.
So what we need to do is we need to bring up the face frame and create some movement and some shape in through here. And she has kind of a pre-existing face frame, which I can see, and everything looks like, she's had a pretty good haircut in the past, which is great. So what I want to do is kind of reshape and open this up a little bit and create some movement in through here as well in the internal shape, because it's cool to have like a face frame, but unless the hair is moving throughout this part, then it doesn't really do it so much justice. So that's why your hair is really, really heavy in through here. But we also have to respect that because the texture of it is fine. So the haircut I want to do is it's going to thicken up the hair. So we have to, keep in mind that I want to cut this so she can kind of flip it around. It looks like her natural parting is over here, but if she wants to flip it or do a little more with it, this haircut will allow for that. So what we're going to do is we're going to wash her hair, and then we'll come back and we'll start the haircut. So with all my haircuts, especially with long hair, I start with using 25 spray, which is an amazing detangling spray. And Allison has like pretty long hair, and I'm telling you, this spray works miracles. So you spray a couple spritzes in, and she's never used this before. The best thing to do is I always like to comb the hair or hold the hair in a ponytail, and look at this. She has a lot of hair, but literally in like a few combs, it's literally combed out. And then what I like to do is put my hand kind of on the scalp here to hold the hair and prevent it from tearing or causing any discomfort. And Allison, you see this, how smooth it's combing out?
I know.
Is that crazy? For someone who has so much hair.
I didn't even feel it.
Exactly. So that's what's so great about 25 spray is that and also it keeps the hair nice and hydrated and moisturized while cutting. I'm gonna continue to comb out her hair, should be another minute or so, and then I'll section it, and then we'll start the haircut. So for the sectioning, we're gonna do pretty much our standard sectioning, where I'm gonna create 4 quadrants throughout the head. I'm going off her side part where she naturally parts it, especially for creating like the angles in the face frame in the front. But I'm just literally finding the top of the head, which you can find just by kind of doing that and seeing where the top of the head is. And then what you do is we're just gonna go straight down like this, and usually it's like right behind the ear. And this is what separates the front from the back, which is called the division point. And all it really is doing, guys, is just really giving you a clean area so you know this is the back and this is the front. So we'll just comb this out of the way. And again, I'm not one who uses clips at all when I'm cutting. So I just want to be more efficient, especially because her hair is really, really long. So the first section, what we're going to do is we're going to go right down the middle, and we're going to brush his hair out of the way, and then here is where we're going to take our first parting. So because she has a bit of a finer texture, it's okay to take a little bit of a larger section, and this is going to be basically us establishing the length in the back. So what we want to do is I'm using the fine teeth of the comb right in through here, and you want to make sure that all the hair is combed straight down, because a lot of times hair will bunch up a little bit, like in through the nape area. So just make sure that when you're combing it, you're getting all of the fine hairs, all the little neck hairs and all that. And we're going to comb it straight down. And now is where you can kind of check the perimeter and see how long we're actually going to cut the hair, or how much we're going to cut. And I know everyone's going to complain that she has dark hair and it's a dark cape. I'm sorry. All right, so we're taking about, I'd say, 1.5 inches the most off. And all we're doing literally is just cutting a one length shape. This is something I've done loads and loads of times. And what I want to do is actually bring everything down to this one point to create the one length shape. And then once I'm done with this, then we'll go into the sides and the front. All right, now like I mentioned in most of my videos, when we're working into this part right behind the ears, you can see we have a nice clean section. I'm not combing this over here. I'm combing this straight back this way because I want to maintain any sort of length or weight right in through here, because that's going to allow us to kind of have more of a solid line going in through this way to create our angle. So always right behind the ear, comb it straight down, straight back like this, not over directing, but literally right behind the ear like this to maintain the length and the weight on both sides. Now it's time to connect the back in through the side area and for us to create our face frame. So this is usually what tells the story of, you know, prior haircuts and what's going on. Usually I can tell kind of right away if somebody's had their hair butchered. And so far so good. What we're doing is we're just kind of combing it straight down and following a straight line because we want to keep the base nice and solid through here. I always say that a good haircut has a really, really good solid foundation because that's going to support the whole thing. So we're seeing that so far, which is good. And now what we're going to do is we're going to kind of work towards the front this way. So now I'm standing directly where I'm going to cut it, combing it straight down, and now is where we're going to start to kind of work upwards this way. So now I'm pretty much standing right here, directly towards the side of her head, and I'm going to cut this straight across, and now I'm starting to see where the previous layers and the previous angle was. So there's a few ways that we can do this. One is we can comb this all straight down like this, and we can put in the angle ourselves right from here, or we can work our way up this way. So what I want to do is I want to create a bit of a thicker shape in through here. So I'm going to work downwards like this at first, and we're going to cut up going this way. If I were to kind of slide cut this, I don't want to do that necessarily because I want to thicken up this area and strengthen the foundation of it. Where slide cutting, what that does is it creates more of a thinner shape on the ends, which is what I'm not looking for. And I want this haircut to have a lot of longevity to it. So by creating this type of shape, what you're doing is you're really ensuring that it's going to look good for a long time. A haircut or a face frame that has like slide cutting like this looks nice and pretty, nice and soft, but the problem is like as it grows out, it looks very wispy and thin quickly. So that's why when creating something like this, I always like to strengthen the ends as much as I can. And also what's great about this is that we can comb this all straight down and we can manually put in the face frame like this. So I'm going to stand right here and I'm literally going to cut straight down, and I'm actually going to strengthen up that base and that foundation right there. And now we've completely connected, pretty much in one shot, the face frame right in through here, as you can see. Look how solid this is. Okay, if I were to slide cut it, it would just be very, very wispy. That's not a bad thing, but I'm not looking for that for this haircut. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually comb it down again Just because you cut it doesn't mean, game's over. What you need to do is you need to really, really comb this a number of times so that you can really see where it's falling and really work it in to make sure that everything is flowing seamlessly. And then it also allows you to kind of go back, and if you want to go a little shorter, you can. So what we're doing is we're bringing this up right into this area because this is really going to be good for her, especially the shape of the cut. And I just want to go one little bit, a hair shorter right there. So starting from right here, it really flows all the way. You can even see in the camera here how nice that is. And this is with the hair being wet. As compared to the other side, this is a lot thinner. So what we're doing is we're really strengthening up this line. So I'm gonna do the same thing on the other side, and then we'll come back and work towards the internal layering. All right, so now what I'm doing is I'm literally standing right in front of her because for the face frame, to get in the best angle, you need to be in a position that it's easy for you and for your client as well. So also when you stand right in front, you're able to look and see if everything is even, and my nickname usually is Uneven Steven. So let's get it even today, okay? Let's go. So I'm combing us all down. I'm standing right in front, and now I'm pointing my fingers downwards this way, which is gonna allow me to cut upwards, okay? And that's what's creating the face frame right in through here. So I'm pointing down, and remember, you wanna keep like this area in through here because you don't wanna cut too much of that, like her length, but where the shape really needs to happen is going this way. And the more you do that by holding your fingers downwards this way, as you can see, we're creating that layer like this. And we're gonna keep working this up so that we can kind of match up on the other side. And a lot of it is visual. You kind of have to like do a little bit of guesswork where it's like, oh, on this side I cut over here, this side let's go over here. And also because she parts it over this way, this has more hair. So I'm gonna comb this straight down like this. I'm gonna comb this side straight down. And we're looking pretty good. And a little trick, if you want, you can comb this hair right down into the middle this way and just kind of take a look and see where things are. So this looks good here. And this looks, let me see, this is here. Perfect. So we're just gonna snip that little bit off. And now what I've done, these two little pieces are happy because they're even. They're perfect right there, all right? They're neighbors now. All right, so then we comb it back this way, and here's where we can really just start to, I always say to people, don't be afraid to comb the hair, comb it and cut it, comb it and cut it. You always wanna make sure you're constantly working the shape because that's gonna ensure a really, really good haircut. So I do that in all my videos where I go back in and I'm constantly combing it, constantly reshaping it, constantly checking for things. That's the best way that the haircut is gonna grow out, is by always ensuring that it's gonna look good in all different angles. So that looks great there. All right, so we have the length done, we have the face frame done. Now, could she leave with this haircut? Absolutely, because we put so much work in creating the shape that she could have a gorgeous haircut from now on. But what I wanna do is I wanna actually start to work in the interior shape, which is gonna give her a little more movement. Now it's time to work in through the layering on the top and the back. And I'm giving her kind of my signature layered haircut. This is just a little bit of a longer version of it. So it's great to see because a lot of people wanna know how to create shorter layers in the front. I mean, we have this, basically right here. So in comparison to the rest of her hair, it's not like super short, but it's not super long. We do have some movement in through here. So when it comes to creating the layers, the first thing I like to do is to take a horizontal section right in the back of the head like this, all right, which I've done. And her hair is so long that it's off. Oh, I can still squeeze a little bit to keep it in frame, just a little. So here's the first section right here. I just want to show you guys right in the center, and we're going to comb this straight up. Now, when creating this shape, and she doesn't have any previous layers from what it looks like, the key is to understand where the front layer is in through here, and we have to connect this layer with this back here. So we have to kind of like connect the dots. So we have all this short hair going into here. So we have to, when you're cutting the layer in the back, you're really starting off of no guide. So you have to really think, if I cut this to here, it's going to fall down to here. But then again, this is way too short. So you always want to have a shorter to longer flow when it comes to layers in general for this type of haircut. So let's comb it straight up, and that's what we're going to cut off right there. Can't really see there. You can see a little bit of it. There we go. I'm going to hold it straight up, make sure I'm going to bring it down because I'm not 6'9", and we're going to cut straight across right here. So it took about maybe 1.5 to 2 inches off the length, which is still keeping it very, very long as far as the layers, but what it's going to do, it's going to complement the face frame in through the front. So again, I'm going to take my next section, which is going to be right underneath that section. We're going to comb it straight up here. And we're going to continue this pattern like I do in all my haircut videos, is we'll take, depending on the hair density, we'll take 2 sections here, which is right here, as you can see. I'm not going to go any lower because I want to keep some of the density, but we're going to do 2 sections horizontally that way, and then we'll comb it straight. You'll be able to see the guide underneath. I'm going to bring my arms down so I can reach, and we're going to cut straight across. So now we're just simply connecting the dots and connecting the layers. Now I'm going to move to the other side of her head, the right side in the back. And I'm using the wide teeth initially of the comb just to comb through it, and then I'll switch to the fine teeth because on finer hair, I like to make sure I'm getting a nice solid grip on the hair section, and then we're going to cut straight across, just like that. Take one more section underneath that, and we're going to bring it all straight up. And then once we're done with this, we'll be able to move on to the next part, which is connecting everything vertically. Her hair is so long that we had to go out of frame with the layers. All right, so what we're gonna do now is we're gonna connect the bottom half that we didn't cut in with the top back. And we're gonna follow the same method. I'm combing it straight out from the head, and then I'm seeing what needs to be connected right in through here. And I always like to do this where I will go up the head shape just to make sure it's all blended. And now we're going all the way down to the bottom like this, taking a section right in the middle of the back of the head. I can just pan the camera around real quick so you can see that one little section right here. That's what we're doing right there, and this is allowing us to connect the layers. Again, we're working all the way towards the bottom, and whatever drops out of that section is the length, so you don't want to mess with it too much, but you want to just make sure that everything does have a good flow. So we're good. So this entire first section is done back in through here. And now what we're going to do is we're going to comb this out of the way. And we're going to take our next section, which is probably going to be about 1 inch in diameter. And we're going to comb it, and we're going to follow the same method throughout the entire back of the head. When we get to this part, again, like when we cut the base, I'm just going to over direct it this way, straight back, because I want to maintain the weight. And I'll get this in the corners when I'm cutting the sides and the corners. But let's breeze through the back here, and then we'll move into connecting the top and the back. So here's a pro tip that when you're cutting hair, especially with layers, right? With men and women, doesn't really matter. But the more time you spend on the haircut, the better it's going to grow out. So I'm actually cutting this to make sure that as the layers grow out, that it's still going to look phenomenal even like 4 or 5 months down the road. Yes, it'll get longer, but if you take the time to really go through every section and you use that detail when you're cutting, it's really, really going to pay off for the client, and that's why I charge the prices I charge. That's why I spend at least an hour on cutting someone's hair. Sometimes my haircuts, the timing can range from like an hour to 3 days. But I do take my time with my haircuts. and it really pays off. So pro tip is make sure that you spend quality time with your client because it'll show as the haircut grows out. All right, guys, now it's time to connect the top back of the head with the top. And this is gonna be the same method that I do in a lot of my videos, but I think it's gonna be nice to see because her hair is a bit longer. And this is where everything really gets interesting because it's like we have that short front and then we have all this length in the back. Like, what do? I have no idea what we're gonna do. No, I'm kidding. So what we're gonna do is we're going to comb this, again, straight down like that. I'm going to spin her around because I wanna put my body in a position that is going to be very comfortable for me. So I'm literally standing on her right side, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to comb this all straight up this way. And here is, let me see, let's put it on my hat again so we can see. This is what needs to get cut off. So it's all this layer into here and this super long bit right on top here. And that's needs to come off because we have to connect this in through this. And that's what's gonna give that volume and that movement throughout the haircut. And I know it might be a little bit like, you might get freaked out. You're like, oh my God, it's such a lot of hair to cut. But trust me, it's going to help with the haircut. You never wanna let the client see how much you're cutting because they'll kill you. But so no, you wanna comb everything straight up, and you don't wanna go too far into here because that's what the corners are for. But all you're doing is really just connecting everything right in through here. And that is going to allow us to work forward towards the front. So I'm gonna do this throughout the other side of the back of the head, and then we'll be ready to move in through the top moving forward. All right, here we are again at the top. And what I'm going to do is we're going to work forward this way. And I wanna still continue to connect this because the top of the head, for everyone's head shape is different. So where it kind of flattens out is about right here. Some people have it way back here. Some people, everyone's head shape is different. So I want to continue this vertical connection until I feel comfortable that we have the shape blended, and then I'll work horizontally going towards the front. So it should be just one more section this way. Comb it straight up. There's the guide underneath, and we're cutting it straight across. Okay. All right, so now we're working into the top. And now is where we can connect this horizontally because we have everything connected. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna comb straight up, and there's the guide right there, and we're just cutting that bit off right here to make it nice and even. And we're gonna take another section in the very, very front. You could probably do this in one section. If not, it's okay to split it in half. But we're gonna comb this all straight up from her head, and there's what needs to come off right there, and we're good to go. So now, what we have to do is we have to do the corners now, and that's where it's most important for this part is the corners, because she didn't have a lot of layers before, and what we need to do is make sure that we can connect everything going from this to longer, all right? And that's where this comes into play, where we stand either right here behind to see what's going on. Perfect, just a little bit of hair right in through here, and that's all needed to come off for that. And we're gonna work towards the front, and it's always best that I feel to take a little bit of a thicker section and slightly over direct back towards you, especially when the hair is a bit on the finer side, just where we're keeping a little bit of density, and we're just working that in right in through this, there we go, right in through here, and this is all now connected in. So I'm just gonna double check everything because you have the corners and then we have the sides as well. And what I like to do is sometimes stand this way because it's a little more comfortable for me. So I'm gonna comb everything straight out this way in one big section, and we're just gonna check to see, wait for it, not much, just a little bit right there, and we're good to go on this side. So let's take this corner now right through here in the back. This is where we're really checking to make sure everything is really blended in nicely. That looks good. Okay, so now we're on the side that has a little more hair because of the parting, and we're gonna comb this straight up following the growth pattern of her hair, and there's that little bit that needs to come off right in through here. And now I'm gonna hold on to this piece And we're going to continue all the way down towards the bottom. Because again, this really is important. You don't want to leave this out, because this is really what connects everything, and this is what really makes everything blended together. And I'm going to continue this pattern going towards the front of the head. So through the front here, there shouldn't be a lot of hair coming off, because since we created the face frame and since we're blending everything together, if everything is all balanced and you're not seeing like hairs that are like 3 inches longer than the others, then that's good. So right now I'm feeling very even today, which is good. Good for both of us. Yes. And then what I want to do now, because we're coming towards the end of the haircut, I will comb everything right on the top here, straight back. And keep in mind that, yes, this hair it's going to look a little bit different as far as the hair because of the parting of her hair. And she does naturally kind of wear it over to the side, it looks like. So I always say to take both sides going down the middle. And it's going to be okay if one side of the layers is a little bit shorter, just because of the amount of hair that's on this side compared to the side where the parting starts. So I'm just going to comb this straight up. We're going to have a look. We're going to see what is going on. And if there's anything that needs to be cut, then we'll cut it. So yes, one little bit right in through here, not a whole lot. And what that's doing is it's just ensuring that everything is really connected and blended together nicely. Now it's time to check the work, and I'm just going to kind of run my fingers through it. And what I like to do is just kind of run my fingers through the hair and just bring everything kind of straight back to me and check for balance to make sure that everything is looking good, and it is. Again, this is a very, the way I cut hair is very complex, and it's amazing what goes into a haircut like this, to be honest with you, right, Allison? Are you kind of like, how are you spending some?
No, I thought you'd be like snip, snip, and done.
No, I ain't skimping out on you. Definitely not skimping out. And with anyone, I do not skimp out. You have to really put the work in. And when she comes back, say maybe it might be like 4 months from now, and she's ready to pay $800 for my haircut, yeah, she'll understand. No, I'm kidding.
That's my big girl job.
That's right, that's right. So now we're ready for the finished part of it. I'm going to apply a little bit of product to it, and then we'll start the blow dry. So I'm going to use support cream, which is going to give her a little bit of hold, and it's going to help support the style. That's why it's called support cream. And then I'm going to go in with my brand new product, which is called Sleek, which I'm super, super pumped about. It's a lightweight smoothing serum. It doesn't weigh the hair down, and it enhances the shape. It helps defrizz, and we're going to use that on her hair as well. So what I'm doing when I'm applying the product is I'm really just making sure that I'm working it in very evenly, and I'm kind of working with the haircut as well. And now I'm going to use Sleek. I'll use probably 1 pump of it, because a little goes a long way. Work it through my hands. And then here's where I'll start to kind of work the product in throughout the ends down here first. And then I'll lightly run it throughout the top and through here. Again, this is great if you want to wear it, put it in when it's dry as well. You can use this when it's fully dry to kind of remove any sort of frizz or anything, or you can use it as a serum when it's wet. So now we're going to start the blow dry. All right, guys, so this is the moment we've all been waiting for. especially because she's like, I gotta get out of here. Now, this is the moment we've been waiting for where I've finished the blow dry, and now I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna kind of rake it back this way, and I'm gonna work in these layers in through here, and I'm just gonna kind of lightly run my fingers through it, and here we go. Head back a little bit. There we go. You can open your eyes. Look at that.
Oh, that's so cute.
Look at that, huh? Beautiful.
Ooh.
See how that...
Who is she?
I know. Look at all that movement in through here now.
Literally.
This is Hollywood hair.
I feel like a hair model.
You should do that one day.
My Instagram bio.
You should do that one. Look at it. See the layers? Is that gorgeous or what?
Wait, you made the blonde look better.
I know.
It kind of like looked bad for a little bit.
Yep, exactly.
You're done.
Exactly. So with this, let's look straight on the camera this way so we can see what's going on.
I want to look at myself.
There'll be plenty of time for that later. You can take all the selfies in the world when we're done. All right, guys. So let's break down the haircut. All right. So in the beginning, like with all my haircuts, we established the length first, and my goal throughout this entire haircut was to really kind of thicken up the shape throughout the ends and through here. And before, it was just kind of grown out a bit and there wasn't a whole lot going on. But now what we've done is we've really created a much thicker, fuller, layered shape going in through here, working all the way through out the back. And then what I usually do is I'll connect this into this, so we have a seamless flow going on. And remember, this is very crucial. You always want to make sure that this is longer. This first section is always going to be longer than this, or else it'll be just way too layered and it won't have a nice flow to it. We connected this, cut the top vertically and then horizontally, working towards the front, the corners, everything out from the head, following the head shape, made sure it's balanced in through here. Then we blow dried it. I used some of my products, and here we have the finished result. Allison, what do you think? How'd I do?
You did really good.
Yeah?
I'd come back.
You would, huh?
I would.
Like in decades or like years?
No, next time we get a haircut.
All right. Do you notice, how does your hair feel? Does it feel good?
It feels so soft. I like the products that you use, and I can't stop touching it. It just feels
Like it feels more loose and like a
Yeah.
lot more movement to it?
Yeah.
That's great. That's great. I appreciate you being a model. And everyone, I'm going to link to her Instagram handle below. Definitely give her a follow. And she also has a YouTube channel too, so I'll put that in there too. Yeah, she's got a really fun bunch of content you're putting out there.
I am. I'm trying.
trying.
Not as much as you. I'm trying to be like you.
Well, I don't know about that. If you want to go nowhere, then yeah, be like me. So anyway, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and click the bell so you're notified of when my videos goes live. And thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time for more videos with the Salon Guy.